Welcome to InfoHub Recap. As we celebrate independence, we look back at the past week's main issues. In our headlines, National Youth Week kicked off with a grand parade on Sunday. PAHO consultant commends government's disaster preparedness. Entrepreneurship and Innovation Conference opened. Guyana's first Timber Expo, a major success. Minister Harman set to contest a high-ranking political post, push for greater compliance in quarrying sector, and Guyana celebrates its 52nd independence anniversary. Stay tuned for the details of these and more. National Youth Week was officially opened on Sunday with a colorful parade featuring hundreds of young people. Zanil Williams has that report.
This is a time where you forge ahead to invest in yourselves, especially when it comes to your education. Your youth is an exciting period. It is the time in your life where you have the power to shape your future. The achievement of every young person adds to the growth of an entire nation.
The minister was at the time addressing the large gathering at the rally to officially launch this year's National Youth Week, which followed a parade from Parliament Building to Durban Park. Minister Norton made special mention of Guyana's youngest female captain, LaShawn Berkeley, the youngest forensic analyst, Tamika Henry, and 8-year-old overseas-based Guyanese, Ayana Willibus, the youngest published author in the United States, as examples of youths making strides in every facet of our society. Director of Youth, Melissa Carmichael Haynes, in her remarks, assured that the development of young people remains a national priority.
One cannot mistake the importance of youth work. Hence, all should get involved and do their parts, ensuring that Guyana's youth are adequately equipped to not only be the leaders of tomorrow, but the agents of change and development partners of the present.
The main highlight for the week is the Youth Business Summit, slated for May 23rd and 24th. Millions of dollars will be up for grabs as 21 youths will pitch business ideas to receive funding from $500,000 to $1 million. Youths are being encouraged to participate in the week of activities being held countrywide. Zanil Williams for InfoHub.
International health consultant Dr. Mariano Bonet has commended the government and the Civil Defense Commission for the country's disaster readiness plan. Delicia Haynes has the details.
The PAHO consultant was speaking at a workshop for stakeholders following the hosting of a successful simulation exercise in Mabaruma on May 12. Dr. Bonet says the country is on the right path for disaster readiness.
And what we have been doing with PAHO and with the Ministry of Agriculture GLD18 is something that for me is correct, and I congratulate as a PAHO officer the government of Guyana and the two ministries, the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Public Health, because we really think that you are doing the right. The country is now preparing, activating the best of the surveillance system, working with the ministries and different sectors to prevent the epidemic. And you know, this is finally what we need in the country.
Additionally, Dr. Bonet says it is laudable to have one agency which is well prepared to respond to a disaster of any making. He has also congratulated the CDC and the government for improvements made over the last 3 years.
When we have a disaster, natural, or an emergency, an epidemic, or any other threat that can be chemical, an spill, an explosion, a radiation emergency, an accident, a mass casualty, we need to think rapidly that we have a platform and an agency that is the Civil Defense Commission, that is the arm of the government of Guyana to work with everybody and fix the situation.
The simulation exercise held in the Northwest District tested the country's readiness to deal with an outbreak of foot and mouth disease or any other epidemic. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
The inaugural Timber Expo was an impressive display of products from Guyana's forests. Seneca Thorne has this report.
The Timber Expo 2018 was hosted by the Guyana Forestry Commission to provide exposure to the products in the sector. Many of the exhibitors commended the government for the initiative.
I would like to say it was a fantastic experience. I think it was extremely successful. It was informational. People get to understand the benefits of fluorine, especially the lesser used species in Guyana. And they get to see that the Guyanese companies can really match the international standards and products.
Coming here and seeing the wonderful job that they've done for us to be able to come out here and promote, it's just great.
The expo also provided exposure to the downstream production within the forestry sector.
I've seen some serious efforts are being made to facilitate the downstream or value-added production, because we say that value-added is not just planing boards. It's making furniture, woodcraft, and all of that.
I think it's a fantastic effort and should be continued because the public is now made aware of what is produced with Guyana local species. Right? People think that, okay, you just build a house with wood, but there are so many more that you can do with wood species.
For other exhibitors, the expo was an opportunity to expand their local market presence.
That we were looking for.
So you think that some of the expo will be a success?
I would say so. And we're hoping that this thing can be a yearly thing, and to educate Guyanese that what is available.
Many of those attending the expo were impressed by the products on display.
A lot of lumber now is going to be extending. It's a lot more lumber sawmill come out, That means the government will helping the people maybe to develop the wood industry.
I think this is something very educational because some of the things I'm now learning about wood and how many things that we could actually do with wood.
The expo was held under the theme Expanding Markets for Guyanese Timber Products through public education, awareness, and sensitization to promote a greener Guyana. Seneca Thorne, InfoHub.
Renetta Lafleur now tells us that Minister Simona Brooms has recommended that work cease at a stone quarry in the Mazaruni River and a sandpit operated by the Region 7 authorities.
Over the weekend, Minister Brooms made impromptu inspections at several quarries and sandpit located in Region 7. The most glaring instances of non-compliance in safety practices were observed at the Durban quarries, where the company failed to correct unsafe mining practices despite a sand pit in 5 miles Bartico.
And the people who operate these things, they are the diamonds between these rocks. And you don't fetch them in bulldozer buckets. I beg of you. Don't do it. Don't do it. I ask that the disregards for compliance with GGMC, that we bring a turnaround. I want to work with you.
Minister Brooms urged stakeholders to strive for compliance.
I planned with the GGMC from the ministry level that we engage all the different owners for the quarries and that we visit today to discuss what are their challenges and to work with them and to ensure that going forward they comply and we have a different relationship. Government give concessions and all of that. I've asked the GGMC to add the list of concessions based on what I've seen today as some additional information, a list of all the concessions that was granted so that in the overview all those things we take into consideration.
According to the minister, the inspections are to gather a comprehensive overlook of the sector and are a step in the right direction towards ensuring that GGMC is better equipped to monitor, enforce, and recover costs in the quarrying sector. Renetta Lafleur for InfoHub.
His Excellency Alexander Kormaz, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Russian Federation on Monday, paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister and Acting President Moses Nagamutu, where they discussed areas of mutual interest.
Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, who is performing the duties of president, today raised a wide range of issues with Ambassador Alexander Kormaz of the Russian Federation during the courtesy call. The acting president assured that Guyana remains eager to build strong relations with the Russian Federation. He agreed to look at the possibility of broadcasting Russian programs locally and exchanging parliamentary delegations to promote ties between the two democracies. Prime Minister Nagamutu also asked that the ambassador conveys his congratulations to President Vladimir Putin on his re-election for a fourth term. He reaffirmed the strong bonds of friendship between the two nations. A token of appreciation was given to Ambassador Kormaz by the Prime Minister. Ambassador Kormaz was accredited by President David Granger on March 28 at State House. The two countries have enjoyed cordial relations and collaborated in the areas of culture, education, economics, investment, politics, security, and science. Guyana and the Russian Federation established formal diplomatic ties on December 17, 1970. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Guyana's first Entrepreneurship and Innovation Conference opened at the Ramada Hotel. Crystal Stull has the details.
Dean of School of Entrepreneurship and Business Innovation, Professor Leyland Lucas, explained the conference stemmed from conversations among stakeholders on the provision of tools needed to boost and transform free enterprise in Guyana.
Everybody's talking about entrepreneurship, but do we really understand some of the dynamics that are important to entrepreneurship? And so we thought we needed to put on this conference for it to be more than just a talk shop.
Established businesses, budding entrepreneurs, students, and academics are among those participating. At this morning's opening, local entrepreneurs were establishing spaces to display their products, which will form part of today's activities. University of Guyana's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Ivelaw Griffith, said the annual forum provides a more hands-on approach.
But the annual conferences will not only be conversations, dreaming and doing about entrepreneurship. They will be setting the stage as part of SEMI to celebrate entrepreneurs.
The two-day event will include panel discussions, presentations of papers, and product displays by members of the business community. Entrepreneurs will be given the opportunity to engage in a business pitch competition. Crystal Stahl for InfoHub.
On Tuesday, Renata reported that GPL is taking measures to improve and that Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson is talking tough and holding the power company accountable.
Minister Patterson explained that the power company is prioritizing the upgrade of the transmission and distribution system and replacing aged transmission lines.
The good news is that when we do get this new generating set, what we'll be doing is for the high voltage section, which is taking the power from the generators to the substation, we'll be building a new infrastructure for that. So therefore, obviously, when this is finished, that line will be more reliable and stable. So therefore, the total shutdowns will be greatly reduced.
Earlier in this month, GPL was fined by the Public Utilities Commission for failing to improve its service and meet targets. Minister Patterson said he supports the decision and will continue working with the company to improve its services. He said GPL must strive to meet its targets.
The number of outages per year, it's supposed to be only 75. The GPL last year, the year of being assessed was 125. So therefore, obviously, they didn't hit that target. They're supposed to be sending out bills 98% of the they're supposed to meter readings of 97% of the consumers, meaning that you're supposed to go physically at some point in the year, go and read 97% of the meters. GPL only was able to do 92%, so there's a shortfall. So we I personally fully supported the PUC's position. It's time we start holding GPL accountable to these standards.
According to the minister, the planned natural gas project will help to resolve the generation issue and provide enough capacity at a reduced cost to customers. Renetta LaFleur for InfoHub.
Radio frequency hoarders will come in for scrutiny. This is the warning of Chairman of the Guyana National Broadcasting Authority, Leslie Sobers. Zanil Williams has this report.
We will not condone broadcasters hoarding for whatever reason, because they may be hoarding it to speculate. When all the others are gone, then they may decide, well, look, we want to transfer to somebody else. And that has happened already. where persons had frequencies and they disposed of it to others. Wouldn't call names, but even though the law allows that to happen with the permission of the broadcasting authority, it's not something that we really encourage.
The GNBA began its door-to-door review of newly licensed radio agencies yesterday with a tour of the Brutal Communications Group Incorporated, a radio station, MAD 97.1 FM, which is 75% completed. Chief Executive Officer of Brutal Groups Incorporated, Christian Duncan, says that he is quite overwhelmed that his station will be launched in July and is anticipating transforming Guyana's radio world.
We are building a network. It will be the first synchronous FM network in Guyana. Our intended geographic coverage will extend from the Quarantine through Demerara to Charity, and from Demerara, the coast, all the way up to Linden, Bartica, Aichuni, Kokwani.
According to the GNBA chairman, the time frame for any expected radio entity to put all the necessary measures in place is a period of 3 to 5 months. However, the authority will take into consideration the financial capability of the entity to launch a station.
Natisha Isaacs informed us that Linden's youths are elated that the National Youth Week activities were taken to the mining town.
I'm very elated to be a part of this event today. I must say that it was well put together, perfectly executed. We welcome it. We would like to see more of youth empowerment being done in Linden, not only Georgetown, and we are forever grateful.
Anthony Jordan there speaking frankly about his delight with the National Youth Week activities being extended to Linden, where the young people are faced with a number of challenges, including the long-standing issue of finding employment. While there are signs of improvement in this regard, Ruben Chung, a student of Christianburg Wisma Secondary School, echoed similar statements to Jordan.
Well, I'm happy that they focused in on Linden because Linden does need a lot of upgrading and advancements, and the youths apparently show the care for that, and the ministry showing up here to do good for Linden is much appreciated by us.
The forum was held at Lycos Hall and featured addresses by the Minister of Social Cohesion, Dr. George Norton, child protection officers, educators, police and youth, and UNESCO representatives. The minister underscored the importance of youths and applauded them for voicing their concerns on the issues that affected them. He reassured young people that their welfare remains a priority of this administration.
This is the importance that this administration is giving to the youth population in this country. We've got to get them involved. We've got to listen to the issues that are affecting them. And most of all, we've got to recognize the important role they will play in our society and are playing at this moment.
Director of Youth Melissa Carmichael said the huge turnout reflected the interest shown by youths in their development.
The young people in Region 10 would have asked for a youth forum where they'll get an opportunity to discuss some burning issues as it relates to youth development. And that's exactly what we did. We had a turnout of more than 150. We were catering for 150. We had a turnout of approximately 200 persons, and we're certainly happy about that. It says that young people are both interested in what's happening with regards to their development, and they actually want that opportunity to be included in the discussions with regards to their development.
National Youth Week activities continue today with a career knowledge fair at the Maikoni Technical Institute. We'll have that report for you in tomorrow's Info Hub. This year's activities are being hosted under the theme Empowering Young People to Foster National and Community Development Through Innovation. For Info Hub, Natisha Isaacs.
Still in Linden, the government's fight against child abuse was being stepped up with the opening of a Children's Advocacy Center in Linden. Stefan Gabriel has this report.
The establishment of the center comes as statistics from the last Child Care Protection Agency report 2017 has shown that Linden has had the highest reported cases of child sexual abuse in the country. Child Care Protection Agency's Assistant Director, Tion October.
Child advocacy centers are centers that we are trying to have in various regions, and the reason for so that the privacy where a child can actually report or comfortable so that they could deliver the interview in a comfortable environment where they could actually relate this story comfortably instead of going to the police, us we want is a multidisciplinary sector where everybody's a part of it.
The Linden Center features an interviewing room which will provide young victims privacy during interviews. The Blossom Incorporated NGO will manage the facility. Managing Director A.O. Dalgetty Dean spoke of the services being offered.
We'll be conducting forensic interviews of children who've been sexually abused. We'll be doing therapeutic counseling with them, or trauma-informed counseling, victim advocacy, court support, and also we'll be doing some preventative work, parenting classes and outreach sessions to sensitize the area on child sexual abuse.
The center, located in the former Linden Hospital complex, is the seventh of its kind and complements others in regions 2, 4, 5, and 7. They were set up through collaborative efforts with UNICEF and local non-government organizations ChildLink and Blossom Incorporated. Reporting for InfoHub, Stefan Gabriel.
Over 100 young entrepreneurs had the opportunity to establish or expand their businesses as they pitched their ideas at Guyana's first ever Youth Business Summit on Wednesday.
Malvani Lord and her business partner Nora Patterson from Silver Hill Region 10 are seeking funding to expand their venture N&L Cassava Products.
It's indigenous products, and we plan on doing on a big scale of doing our products more and more locally and internationally. Well, the summit it's helping us. It's going to help us on a big scale because it's to expand our business.
Peter Passad and Quincy Anderson also intend to take advantage of opportunities at the summit.
There are so much aspects of business that we're not aware of, and a summit like this gives us the opportunity to network, to learn from professionals, and it's something that we really need as youths in this business environment.
Well, I think the summit is a good initiative, and I'm looking forward for it in the future. I'm excited to be a part of this summit, and I'm encouraging all young entrepreneurs to start up the business, be consistent, and start small and let it grow.
Acting President and Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, delivering the feature address, said that managing and operating a business is a commitment young people must prepare themselves for.
Many youths involved in business activities are unaware of the numerous procedures and support systems that can enhance their business endeavors. Many youthful entrepreneurs are sometimes not afforded the opportunity to meet the people who make critical decisions about doing business in Guyana. And I hope that this summit will address this concern.
Both Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin and Minister of Social Cohesion Dr. George Norton urged the young entrepreneurs to make the best of the opportunities. The summit is part of the National Youth Week 2018, which is being observed under the theme Empowering Young People to Foster National and Community Development Through Innovation. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
Tiffany Rogers tells us that CARICOM member states have started a regional dialogue on a strategy for regional implementation of the WTO Agreement on Trade Facilitation Agreement, TFA.
The two-day meeting will identify and validate implementation gaps at the national and regional level, Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenwich said.
This participation will help to deepen our understanding and appreciation of the regional approaches and priorities identified in the CARICOM strategy for regional implementation of this trade facilitation agreement.
The TFA allows World Trade Organization members who are involved in a customs union or regional economic arrangement to adopt regional approaches. This will assist in implementation of the agreement's provisions. CARICOM's Council for Trade and Economic Development, COTED, approved a regional strategy in 2017 to guide the implementation of the agreement's 18 technical measures. Assistant Secretary General of Trade and Economic Integration, Ambassador Joseph Cox, said the strategy will be the main tool to mobilize technical and financial support for implementation of the TFA in member states.
Regional approaches to trade facilitation are intended to harmonize and coordinate cross-border reforms in order to create a consistent, coherent, and predictable trade environment throughout the community.
Today's dialogue included the Caribbean Development Bank and the Islamic Development Bank. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
On Thursday, President David Granger and First Lady Mrs. Sandra Granger returned home. having completed their routine annual medical checkup, which they have been doing in Trinidad for many years. The results indicate a clean bill of health. Mrs. Granger first joined the scheme 28 years ago as a CARICOM Secretariat staff member, and the president, as her spouse, was eligible to join. The first couple has been traveling to Trinidad and Tobago for annual medical examinations for over 12 years, long before the president's entrance into active politics. Their annual medical checkup is usually done in August of each year. However, President Granger opted to do those tests in May this year so that he would be in Guyana for the lead-up to local government elections, which are due later this year. In observance of Guyana's 52nd independence anniversary celebrations, Mrs. Sita Nagamutu has been hosting a series of secondary school tours at the official residence of the Prime Minister. Gabriela Patram brings us that report.
As one of the heritage buildings, Mrs. Nagamutu said the PM's residence, which is over 150 years old, holds tremendous historical significance. She saw it fit that students were given the opportunity to visit the stately home and learn about its history. Mistress Nagamutu, who is a former head teacher, took the opportunity to encourage the students, most of whom are 3rd, 4th, and 5th form students, to study hard and work towards achieving their goals. Educational pamphlets and other souvenirs were handed out to the students and teachers of the schools. Posters showcasing Guyana's independence history and a short video on the residence were presented. Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu also took time to spend a few minutes interacting with the students of the various schools during their tour. Schools that would have visited the exhibition thus far include Kingston Secondary, North Rumveldt Secondary, Diamond Secondary, Charlestown Secondary, and various students from schools from Region 6. Gabriela Patram for InfoHub.
Coalition administration recommits to greater effort in attaining the good life for all. Stacey Carmichael tells us more in this week's Cabinet Roundup.
As Guyana gets ready to celebrate its 52nd independence anniversary, the coalition government has recommitted to placing greater effort on policies and programs to enable the nation's rapid and sustainable development. Minister of State Joseph Harmon at today's post-cabinet press conference.
It also committed itself to living in unity and to assiduously work both individually and collectively for the development of Guyana towards the achievement of the good life for all ourselves.
Cabinet has approved the National Revised Forest Policy Statement and Plan 2018, which were submitted by Natural Resources Minister Raphael Trotman. According to Minister Harmon, they were reviewed to take into consideration Guyana's commitment to the Green State Development Strategy and to combating climate change.
The Revised Forest Policy Statement and National Forest Plan also reflects Guyana's movement away from valuing our forest simply for its wood to emphasizing that it is a cornerstone of our national patrimony, providing a host of products.
The Guyana Forestry Commission, with the approval of Cabinet, will conduct a public sensitization on the policy and plan. The annual report of the Guyana Wildlife Conservation and Management Commission was also submitted to Cabinet and will be laid in the National Assembly. The Cabinet has agreed for Guyana to be a signatory to bring into force the ratified CARICOM Arrest Warrant Treaty, signed by member states at the 38th regular meeting of heads of states in July 2017 in Grenada. And finally, in post-cabinet roundup, Minister of Finance Winston Jordan will be attending the 9th International Infrastructure Investment and Construction Forum in China from June 7 to 8.
While in China, the Honorable Minister of Finance will also, at the invitation of the government, visit mainland China from June 9th to the 15th to hold discussions with a number of officials in the financial, manufacturing, and construction sector, including China Development Bank, the China Exim Bank, China LAC Foundation, Huawei Exhibition Hall, Industrial Zone, and Manufacturing Center.
For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Many of you will be joining the 52nd Independence festivities. If you do, please ensure you have a designated driver. Do not drink and drive, and do not speed on our roadways. Have a safe Carnival 2018.